And talk to me about the murder of David Regan.
What do you want to know?
So, I mean, the reports are that was ordered by you, and I think was there some confusion around what that potentially related to?
Well, we can't speak about the murder of David Regan without speaking
Right.
about the murder of Craig Barker, because
Okay, tell me about that.
that's where it all stemmed. So Craig Barker was an innocent young man, never participated in any violence. He trained at under 12s football team. He was only 18 himself, but this is what he wanted to be a football coach. He loved his football. During that period with the rights, where we're having friction with the rights within Liverpool, you've got families connected to families and families connected to families. So at the higher level, all these families, like the daughter of that family will be married to the son of that family, and that connects these criminal families, if you like to understand. Yeah. And that's where William Moore comes into the picture.
Right.
So it is what it is. We're doing what we're doing. The graph's bouncing. William Moore's being in jail while we're going through this process. He was sent to prison in Birmingham for 12 years for being arrested with 10 kilograms of brown on the motorway. So he's gone into custody during this period, but his family is still out doing what they do. We started getting into friction with William Moore's younger brother called John Moore, because he was a drug dealer in the area. We're 23, 24. He's 40, 41. He's been doing it for years. All of a sudden, we're stepping on their toes. So John Moore's grafters ended up standing on our toes, and we've done what we normally do: pull them out the car, seriously hurt them, took the phones off them, and they've took that as an insult. So John Moore's popped up. So I'll tell you the story. So I came into a lump sum of legit money anyway from my grandparents, and I invested it into bricks and mortar. And just on the end of the Grisdale estate, I managed to get hold of a property, turned it into a cafe and a flat above it. And I was living in the flat, and I had the cafe underneath. And everyone used to come to the cafe and eat all the local drug dealers used to come to the cafe and eat the dinner and breakfast or whatever. And then on this particular, we'd already damaged this John Moore's grafters drug dealers. We've already pulled them out the car, cut them, took the phones and stuff like that. This one morning, I get a phone call off an old associate saying, this Porky Moore's looking for you, because that's what they called him, Porky Moore, because he looked like a little fat pig. He said, Porky Moore's looking for you. And as he's saying that, Porky Moore comes past me on the outside. So I come out the cafe, he's driving past, he pulls over. Now, he must have been thinking I was going to go to bits and, crumble because of who he was. But he haven't. I've gone right round to the passenger seat, sat in the passenger seat of his car. And as I'm in the passenger seat of the car, he must have panicked because I've just opened his door, sat in. He's dropped something, but I haven't let on that I've seen it. He started running his mouth off about respect and this, that, and the other. I was bowing down because I knew he'd had something in the car, but I haven't let on. I bowed down, got out the car, walked round to the driver's door as if I'm saying goodbye, and snatched the keys out the ignition. Then I've told my friend to get a blade out the cafe. He's brought it over, and I've plunged him in the shoulder, slapped him up, and he screeched off, I'm going to tell our Willie. So we thought nothing of it. It's just another confrontation with another local drug dealer, although they were old school, and they basically, they were the ones with the kilos and,
right,
shifting huge amounts of drugs, and we'd fronted it, if you like. So what's happened there is, within a week or something, I've had a phone call off Willie Moore.
Right.
But before all this, Willie Moore's out of prison, and he's come onto the Grisdale estate, and he spoke to me, and he's offered us this, and he's offered us that, and we've said, okay, we'll take a test there, we'll get back on you, but we never got back on him because we were remaining loyal to the other firm.
Yeah.
And he's took that as an insult as well. And that's why his brother put his grafters on our estate, to step on the toes. So we get a phone call off Willie Moore, you disrespect my family, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And that was that. During this process, we're still having a bit of trouble with Michael Wright. And Michael Wright had an older brother called Joseph Wright. And Joseph Wright's drug dealing partner was Davy Regan. So Davy Regan became the go-between between, like the peace negotiator between the Wright and us. So every time an incident happened, Davy Regan would be placed in the picture and go and talk to them, just try and calm it down, all that type of stuff. So we're moving along. One of the kids who's been around us for years, Craig Arrow Smith. This is all in the same period. Craig Arrow Smith, he's got his wages. He's gone into town with his girlfriend. When he's gone into town with his girlfriend, he's bumped into distant relatives of the Wright firm. They've got on a Tim. They've caused a little bit of trouble with him in the 051 nightclub. He'd come out the 051 nightclub. Craig sent his bird home. Not Craig Barker, Craig Arrow Smith. He's put his girl in a taxi and then had a confrontation with this group of lads. The group of lads have chased him to a hotel called the Adelphi. Yeah. And on this side of the Adelphi, you've got a wall, which is about 4 foot high. But on the other side of the wall, it's a 100-foot drop. So Craig's been getting chased, jumped over the wall and snapped his neck. So he's died. So we're all a bit destroyed off him dying. We've been to his funeral. We've been, doing what you do. You go to the wake, you go to the funeral, you bury him. We've just went through that process. So as we're just chilling now. It's the day after the funeral. We're in a car. There's 3 of us in the car. Me, my youngest brother Ian, and a lad called Mark Richardson. He's lifed off now for the Michael Wright murder. So there's 3 of us in the car. We go onto our estate, and as we go onto our estate, we see Craig Barker, the 18-year-old kid, just by himself on the estate. So we say, "Do you want to come with us? We're going for a scran and that." So he gets in the car, and he was into his auto traders, and he goes, "Look at this car, identical to yours. We're in a Galaxy Z-Tech 2.3 on a 52 plate." And he showed us a Galaxy 2.8 Gaia X on a 52 plate. There was only one number in the red's difference. And it was like a more powerful car, more luxurious. You had screens in the headrest where you could rig up a computer. And he sort of convinced me, when you get it, Darren. So when, you know what, go and get this money for me. Got 10 grand. Went to where the car was for sale in Southport. So the 4 of us have drove to Southport, ended up purchasing this car for about £9,500. Me and Craig have jumped in the new Galaxy, and Ian and Mark have followed us behind it. And we've drove home to my ma's estate, drove in the close, parked the C-Tech up outside my mum's, and then left in the new Galaxy to go to Speak. And the reason we went to Speak was to buy a computer, because this new car had screens in the headrest where you could rig it up. So we went to Speak, bought the computer, had a McDonald's. A few hours later, my mum's rang me saying, "Come and get your washing." So my mum was doing my washing because I lived in the flat round the corner. We come in, went to my mum's. I've asked, at this moment, Craig's in the back with Mark playing on the new computer. I'm in the front with Ian. I've asked Craig to come into my mum's with me and get these bags of washing. We've got the bags of washing, put them in the boot. Then I've said to Craig, "You've been on there for an hour or 2 now. Swap seats." So Craig's got out the back seat and got into my seat, which was the passenger seat, because I was banned. Everyone knew me in the passenger seat. Now I'm in the back seat. We drive out, coming out of our estate to do it right towards me flat where the cafe was. I'm in the backseat. We drive out, coming out of our estate to do a right towards my flat where the cafe was. It's becoming dusk now on the 6th of April. And as we do that, there's a car face just in the side street with its lights off, but its engine running. And my little brother goes, get on the Mondeo there with its lights off. So we were going to drive and I was going to follow us and do the deed probably outside my gaff. But I've said slam it, reverse. So now we're looking at the driver who's only got his face covered with his hand. So as we're looking at the driver, the back passenger door opens. So we're focused on the driver. The back passenger seat opens. The gunman was lying flat on the back seat and come out the car feet first. And when he's opened the back door, he's being crouched behind the back door, so you couldn't see him. You could only see the back door swing open. So as I've said, get on the back door, how the fuck's that just opened? He's popped out and let a shot off to the passenger window. The bullet's gone through the passenger window. The Z-Tech 2.3 that we left outside my mum's was an automatic. The new one was a manual. So when the bullets come through the glass, I've told my younger brother, put your foot down and get out of here. He's let the clutch out too fast and stalled on the spot. The gunman, this Darren Waterhouse, SAS trained soldier, zigzagged up to the car, pounced on Craig, put his gun point blank to Craig's chest and worked down his sternum, emptying the clip. Now, as Craig's taking them bullets, he's trying to get away from him. So he's going over the centre console where the handbrake and that is in the car, and he's ending up on Ian. So Craig's back is on Ian. All the gunman's waist deep now. He's followed him. So Craig couldn't get away from him. All them bullets that's gone through him have come out of him and gone into my little brother. So he's done his deed. I've had to open the back door, gone to Ian's door, my younger brother, the driver's door. He's fell out. I've picked him up, put him on the back seat. Mark's already opened the door and ran away. He got one in the shoulder, but he's opened the door and ran away from the scene. I've had to push Craig back over into the passenger seat, start the car and go towards the Liverpool Royal Hospital.
So Craig ends up being killed. Your brother's seriously wounded. How soon after that was the decision to go after David Regan?
10 days later.
10 days later. And you go after David Regan. And that was, did you call the shot?
Yeah, so to get to that point of what happened, I've got them in the hospital. He's died. We're doing all, I'm feeling responsible. You know, the gunman came for me. I just swapped seats. Craig's dead. Ian's in a coma. I've come out of that Royal Hospital that night. My head's gone. I go back to another apartment he had in the city centre. I'm sitting there with 2 guns. My weed intake went through the roof. So I'm getting more paranoid and more suspect about anyone and everyone. Eventually, you know, I've got to go and see his mum, Craig's mum. She sent a gazebo up outside the family home. I'm sitting in there. We're all thinking revenge, retaliation, but we didn't know who it was. Eventually, I get a phone call off William Moore. What we've been through, blah, blah, blah. That kid shouldn't have been shot dead. David Regan was driving the car.
Do it, Sandra. You've talked about going to Barcelona for years. You weren't this indecisive about that dolphin tattoo. Don't let this be another high school prom moment, Sandra. What do you think Greg's doing now? Yep, probably on holiday.
But Wendy said it's a bit hot this time of year.
Wendy believes in astrology, Sandra. Do it. Press the button. Think of the paella. Go see for yourself. Yes, Sandra! Search and compare flights on Kayak.
Greg?
Regan was driving the car. And that's what put David Regan in the picture.
Right.
So we fast forward now to the 18th of May. So the 6th of April, Craig's shot dead. 10 days, 2 weeks later, we get the information that David Regan was driving. For a week or 10 days, we're letting them know that we know he was involved. Phone calls, threatening phone calls, turning up at his brother's house, you know, looking for him, stuff like this.
Yeah.
Eventually, I got the whereabouts of his business, which was a car wash business. Most drug dealers back in the day used to use them sort of businesses to launder the money.
Yeah.
So we found out where his business was. A couple of days before, we went down and done a little recce on it. You know, had a little look around what route we were going to take. On the 18th of May, we purchased a car. We just sent some smackhead down to purchase a car, just a little old car, a little Escort. We'd also had another Galaxy. So, obviously, we needed a firearm. One of my mates' dad, Ricky, he was connected to the Farleys. We asked Ricky to speak to, because they were involved in security, them was at that time. We've asked them for a firearm. They give us a Beretta with a silencer. We've put the Beretta with a silencer in the glove compartment of the Escort that we purchased. We'd left it at the bottom of the road, parked up for a few hours. Got a phone call saying David Regan is now at the car wash. So we've just left our estate, 5 of us, after discussing about, you know, we need to get him, we need to show him what Craig's dead, we need someone to pay for it. We've ended up in the car, tandem. It's about 2:45 in the afternoon on the 18th of May. It's a nice sunny day. We drive up Everton Road, go down West Derby Road, down to Brook, do a right onto Green Lane, end up on Lower Kensington Road, Prescott Road. As we do a right, we come across the car wash, it's on the left. We see David Regan's BMW. He's sat in the front with his brother. The gunman is in the Escort with the driver. I'm in the Galaxy with the driver, and there was another car floating behind us, a Fiat Abarth with someone else in it. We slam on outside the garage. The gunman jumps out with the Beretta, lets a shot off through the windscreen. David Regan gets out, starts running. The gunman pursues him and hits him 3 times in the back. And then he's dead. 2 days later, I'm arrested for for murder. They couldn't charge me with the murder. I'm about to be released from custody. The girlfriend of David Regan made numerous statements that were untrue. I ended up getting charged with threats to kill. Went to court under armed guard with a helicopter and all this sort of stuff. Ended up in prison on the threats to kill. 6 weeks later, they've come back and charged me with conspiracy to murder with persons unknown. And that's that.
And what did you do for that?
What sentence?
Yeah, sentence.
So I got 18 years and done 12 for it. I weren't classed as the gunman. I was classed as a conspirator, someone who conspired with the unknown gunman.
And what happened to David Waterhouse, who was responsible for killing your friend Craig?
Darren Waterhouse and William Moore.
Darren, what happened to them?
They got convicted for a contract killing.
Right.
It was proven in court. And back in the day, a policeman being murdered or a contract killing by firearm, you'd ended up with 30, 35 plus recommendations. So they ended up with 35 years each for contract. Right. I ended up with 18 because the judge back in that time, pre-2004, they could have given you a discretionary life sentence.
Yeah.
Or a long determinate for conspiracy to murder. Now it's 30 standard. Yeah. It's a recommendation, isn't it?
It's very different now.
So because we're a threat to the public, you give me a long determinate sentence.
Russian defenders will break, because I don't think in most of these trench lines that the soldiers that are there sitting in those trenches and bunkers are well trained, confident, disciplined. And so the potential for this thing cracking open, but I say potential, is very real.
Hello and welcome to Frontline for Times Radio with me, Kate Chabot. And today we're talking to a retired American general, Lieutenant General Ben Hodges. In his 38 years for the US Army, he's commanded in Iraq and Afghanistan. From 2014 to 2017, he was Commander US Army Europe. And now he is a senior advisor to the NGO Human Rights First. Ben Hodges, welcome to Frontline. Really good to speak to you. And of course, we're going to be talking about Ukraine today. How do you see it? Do you see we're entering into phase 2.0 in this war?
I think right now is sort of the calm before the storm. The momentum has shifted so much to Ukraine's side. Ukrainians are preparing for a counteroffensive that we all think is coming soon. Every day there's new good news about countries like the UK, Germany, others wanting to provide resources to the Ukrainian side. And there's generally bad news almost every day for the Russian side. So I'm very optimistic about what lies ahead.
And recently this week, we've seen a new development. It is encouraged